Hello everyone, welcome back to another one of my speed modeling and texturing. Today I will be modeling a KR-9M. The KR-9M is a US manufactured AK style weapon. It's based on the Russian Vityaz SN submachine gun and has a standard 30 round double stack magazine. It weighs around 6.5 pounds and has a side folding stock. I chose this weapon to model because I thought it was unique and looked really cool. The entire process of building this model took over 18 hours, including the low poly modeling, high poly modeling, UV unwrapping, UV packing, and texturing. I found my reference images off the manufacturer's website and found some YouTube videos to help. I started modeling the low poly model as first, as I usually do, and started with the buttstock, which actually has the ability to fold inside and give the gun a machine pistol look. Details such as the clip for the strap are really important and look nice in the final renders, as it shows your attention to detail, which needs to be high. Then I modeled the trigger guard, and the magazine. Nothing too special there, you just need to make sure to add the proper holes for the magazine and be sure to include the magazine release lever. Ideally you would look at a real version of the gun at a gun store or buy it, but if there are enough photos and videos on the internet about it, there is no need. To get a good thickness for the magazine and the overall gun, it is important to know what caliber bullet the gun fires. In this case, the KR-9M is chambered in 9x19 caliber. I found a photo of the magazine for this gun on the manufacturer's website. Then I proceeded to model the body again. Don't forget the little details like the screws and screw heads. For details that you don't actually want in the geometry of the object, you can create a floater. A floater is basically a high poly object that bakes onto the normal map, giving the impression of geometry when there really is none. Then I modeled the safety pin, which is quite large and iconic in the 8K variants of guns. When I modeled the upper receiver, I tried to find some photos of the gun when taken apart. You have to remember that the upper receiver is not a solid object, so you cannot model it like one. It is a hollow, rounded, circular piece of metal where the bolt loads a bullet and fires. To model repetitious items such as where the sight would go, feel free to use an array modifier to help you repeat a model over and over again. When using the mirror modifier, be careful because not every detail is on both sides of the gun. Then, I modeled the grips, which were quite tedious due to all the little details. I actually, believe it or not, put the grid-like pattern in the geometry. I figured that the normal maps wouldn't be enough to accurately showcase them. Modeling the barrel is especially fun because it is relaxing and has just the right amount of detail to look cool, but not be too tedious to model. When I completed the low poly modeling, I proceeded to UV unwrap the model. I normally don't mark seams, I just unwrap and hide until the whole object is hidden. Make sure that each hard seam is in the UV editor. The rest of the UV unwrapping is boring, so I'll see you in the high poly modeling.
Take it apart, throw it away, put it back together again. Modular.
For high poly modeling, the work is all boring, but it's all worth it in the end. I learned a really simple way of taking your low poly models and turning them into high poly models fairly quickly. Before you start, you need to copy all of your low poly objects and move them into a new layer. Ideally, you would also change the name of the models to underscore high poly. A Blender add-on rename objects is super helpful. Then you need to make sure that your low poly model has already been UV unwrapped. Then you mark all the islands as scenes, which is the button in a UV editor. Then you select all the seamed edges with Shift G and add weight to the edge. Then you add a bevel modifier, set the segments to 2 and the limit method to weight. With the bevel modifier, you can add the subsurface modifier and make 2 subdivisions. This method is not perfect, and sometimes you'll have shading errors that can easily be corrected by adding more geometry. That's basically all I do, and I'll see you in the texturing portion. I texture in Substance Painter by baking all my maps and correcting most of my mistakes off camera. If you want more details on baking in Substance Painter, leave a comment. In general, I separated the gun into 2 different types of metal and the bullet. I used a smart object for each type of metal, the steel dark stained and the steel gun matte, and called it a day. I hope you guys learned something or at least enjoyed the video, and I would like to hear what you guys want to know more about specifically, or if you have any other objects you want me to model.